What is up, speedsters, and welcome back to a brand new Flash review. Now this is for episode 12 of season 6, titled A Girl Named Sue, I believe, anyway. Now this episode was interesting, I guess you would say, but I feel like the Flash is starting to slightly go on this momentum, which was, you know, it was like, alright, after Crisis, it was even pretty decent, but now it's like we haven't had the Flash in a few episodes, like, properly, if you will. And while I found this episode interesting, more interesting than what I thought I would, I still feel like there's something missing, and that is getting into the real nit and grit of what we have, or should I say, what we are expecting to come in the back half of this season. And I believe that is, you know, really getting into the whole nit and grit of the Blackhole organization. By the way, I have done a couple of Flash videos recently, as of yesterday and the day before, so this is the third Flash video in a row. Yesterday I did a whole video on Godspeed returning, because we know he is returning, and I'll talk about in this video how I believe that is in relation to the Blackhole organization, in which I also talk about in that video as well, so definitely check that out after you have seen this review. And on Monday I spoke about when should the Reverse Flash return, so I just wanted to plug those videos quickly, just in case you speedsters haven't seen them yet, because yeah, they'll definitely be right up your street. But of course, before we go on to talk about the rest of this episode, guys, go ahead and leave a like on it, only if you continue to enjoy it, and other than that, subscribe for more videos just like this. So this episode, guys, essentially we had a few things going on. We had Ralph, finally. Ralph, hello, where have you been? Ralph and Sudhir Bond, as you may know from the comic books, this is his future wife, Dibney. What is going on with my brain? Forgot Ralph's name for a second. And also we, of course, had the Mirror Iris stuff, or should I say in this video, I'm going to be calling her Duplicate Iris at the same time, because we have a duplicate on the outside. We had quite a bit of teasers for the Blackhole organization, which I found a very, very interesting kind of, well, this isn't confirmed or anything, but I have a theory as to what's going on with that in terms of Sudhir Bond's connection. And also we had some more Harry Wells stuff, which is definitely, I think, making most of the fandom scream out, saying like, where are you going with this Flash? What exactly are you doing? I talked about this in last week's review, because they definitely teased that there, but this week it just goes even further, and it's just like, really, what are they doing with Nash and the other Welleses? So towards the very beginning of the episode, we had Iris in the Mirrorverse, if you will, and I have to say that I really like the actress who is playing Ava McCulloch. I mean, since this episode debuted a couple of new characters, if you will, I think I prefer this actress more than Sudhir Bond. Sudhir Bond's, like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed her, but I felt like it was a little bit, I don't know, maybe the Flash is getting a bit cheesier these days, but there were a few scenes between her and Ralph this episode that felt a little bit too deliberate. Maybe that's the tease there, foreshadowing connection. That was definitely teased, despite the kind of twist that happened with Sue. But there were just two a bit overly convenient moments, TV moments, if you will, between those two. That just felt a little bit like, yeah, okay, I don't know. I just wanted to get my impressions of the two new characters to you guys straight away. But I think the performance that we got from Ava was more interesting for me personally in the story, just because she's been trapped inside that mirror for 6 years, ever since the particle accelerator went off in Central City. Now this is kind of been like a no-brainer. If you looked at the character description of Ava McCulloch, you may or may not have known that this is essentially been a thing for quite a while. But on the other side of things, in the real world, of course, we had Duplicate Iris, who is getting, well, it's kind of weird. She's getting closer to taking down the Blackhole organization. She is essentially our Iris, but more edgier. They definitely included that SOB line, if you know what I mean, to kind of spell that out. I feel it just felt like a little bit unnatural to hear that on a CW show of the Flash. It's straight away, it's like, I'm gonna get those sons of bitches kind of thing. So anyway, she wanted the mirror gun, and Barry was immediately a little bit kind of iffy about that. Didn't necessarily want that gun getting into the wrong hands. Now, as to why Duplicate Iris wants the mirror gun, I don't know. I really don't know, because so far they've definitely established a difference between her Iris, the Duplicate Iris, and our Iris, one being more edgy, but still Iris. For all intents and purposes, she is still kind of Iris. But I think maybe, I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think she wants to use that mirror gun to maybe seal the other version, the real version of Iris in the Mirrorverse forever. I don't really know what else I know she wants to take down Blackhole and Joseph Carver and the whole big conspiracy with what's going on there, which is just only going to get more fleshed out towards the finale of this season. But I think this might be for selfish intentions, but who knows. Now, initially, Barry said no, so she went to the Star Lab kind of archives to get the mirror gun herself, and this leads me to talk about what I teased about a second ago, which is, of course, Nash Wells. What the hell's going on with Nash? Now, last week, there were many fans saying, is that actually Harry Wells that he saw in CC Jitters, or is it Eobard Thawne, like Wellsabard? I have to admit, they are very similar. Even to the glasses, they're very similar, but I leant more on the side of Harry. I think it's without a doubt now that it is Harry Wells, considering that Nash Wells was taking the diary of Harrison Harry Wells. So I think that is a no-brainer. Honestly, it is very interesting. The lines that were said by Harry Wells to Nash were definitely... I don't know. I just don't really know what's going on, and that's what I really love about shows. When they tease little things like this, as long as they don't drag it out too much, but when there's a little bit of a slow in momentum with the main plot, which I feel like is what is going on now in The Flash, but they kind of supplement it with other little mysteries like this, then, you know, it's a nice way to tide people over until maybe a couple of episodes time where things really ramp up. Because I feel like right now, as I said earlier in this review, we're kind of in like a little slow snail's pace with things in The Flash season 6 after blood work. But trust me, I think things are really going to blow up soon, and that kind of goes back to my Godspeed video of yesterday. Things are going to really ramp up with the Blackhole organization's assassins and people they're hiring. One of them might be Godspeed or Experiments, who knows. And yeah, Harry Wells with this whole goddamn mystery of him saying so much unfinished business. It's like, what does that mean? Harry, what are you trying to spell out to us? I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below as always, guys. I know I keep saying that, but I want to kind of keep reminding you of what I want you to talk about in the comments, because these are kind of the focal points of the episode, I believe. Now, of course, this episode went to and fro with the scenes of what was going on with the separated parts with like Ava and Iris, and then Duplicate Iris. Then we had Ralph and Sue, which we'll get onto in a second. Ava has tried to escape the Mirrorverse 1,322 times. And as I said, I really enjoyed the kind of distraught acting from her kind of portrayal of this episode, because, you know, if you were alone for 6 years in your own mirrored version of Central City, you would go insane. Although I am intrigued, do you not have to eat in the Mirrorverse? Now, even though she spent 6 years in there trying to escape over 1,300 times, Iris came up with it within a second. Now, I would normally nitpick that, but it makes complete sense. Like, you know, Team Flash have actually, you know, got out of the Mirrorverse before through using liquid nitrogen, so it would make sense as to how Iris thought of doing that, even though it didn't work. Which I don't know why it didn't work. Maybe they'll give us an explanation of that in a future episode. But then, obviously, where it led to later on in the episode, with Ava kind of going into a bit of a meltdown after that attempt didn't work, we realized that her metahuman powers, with her summoning that part of the mirror, could fix the mirror again. And I'm kind of guessing that the way they're going to get out is potentially just through Ava coming into her own with her meta powers. I'm really looking forward to how this kind of new Mirror Master, if you will, albeit that she's not going to be a villain, so to speak, or at least that's the way it's going so far. It's going to be really brutal, to be honest, if she just gets out through walking through it by herself. Then that's going to suck, because she kind of could have done that a long time ago. So let's talk about Ralph and Sudhir Bond. I mean, that's the main gist of this episode. There's not so much to say when you just break it all down. Like, you know, he obviously got a lead on Sue. He went to her apartment. It blew up in his face. They kind of got talking a little bit. They decided to help each other out, or should I say Ralph decided to help her out. Long story short, Ralph eventually unveils his powers and saves her. They went to go and get the safety deposit box, and then she betrays him. Now, as for what they're going to do with this storyline, I think it's fairly predictable. Obviously, this is like goes without saying. We all know where they go in the comics, so she's gonna come full circle. But what the Flash TV show is doing is probably dirtying up her past and a bit of her character background to make it a bit more interesting for the Flash TV show. And they've already successfully done that this episode through introducing her. There was a bit of flirting. going on. Cecile even said that their like emotions and feelings are so like on the same wavelength. strength. A lot of foreshadowing for their connection, but Sudhir Bond most certainly had something else up her sleeve, and this all got revealed when she kind of backstabbed Ralph for getting that safety deposit box, kind of diamond or jewel or whatever it was. But the fascinating thing I found about this is that when Ultraviolet arrived, because she wanted the contents of that safety deposit box, is that she called Sudhir Bond an old friend. And I don't know about you, but they were wearing fairly similar, very skin-tight leather outfits. Kind of makes me think, especially with Ultraviolet calling Sudhir Bond an old friend, and then that after credit scene, that Sudhir Bond has, without a doubt, okay, maybe a little bit of a doubt, I can't confirm this, been working with Joseph Carver, aka the Blackhole organization, potentially. I'm not going to come out and say that she's actually been an assassin, like one of the many assassins for the Blackhole organization, but it does kind of look that way. It definitely does look like either way, Sudhir Bond has kind of got a riddled past with the Blackhole organization, albeit that she might not work for them anymore, probably definitely doesn't, and even with the after credits scene, looks like she's trying to take down Joseph Carver, considering his picture was in that little place that she was working in, and then she was looking at the diamond and it had Blackhole logos all over it. It looks like she, for some reason, is trying to take them down as well, or trying to do something with the Blackhole organization, but yeah, it's just fascinating. I would love to know what you think there as well. Do you think she's definitely been involved? I feel like they're spelling that out to us. I mean, she's really competent in combat. She's got a similar outfit to Ultraviolet, just in terms of maybe what Blackhole would outfit them with if you're an assassin kind of thing. And yeah, she seems to know quite a bit about them. My guess is that somehow or another, obviously Team Flash are going to run into her again. Maybe she may be a little bit well over her head, and maybe Ralph helps her out, and then it kind of comes full circle where she kind of lets her guard down and accepts Team Flash's help, or maybe more specifically Ralph's, and then, you know, after that all gets resolved, she'll kind of be very familiar with the team, and maybe a continuing character obviously in the show. In addition to this as well, if she does let her guard down with Team Flash a lot more, she can give Team Flash, who are coincidentally investigating the same criminal organization, a lot more intel. She could tell them what they're about, what they maybe have planned for Central City, who is under their kind of wing in terms of assassins, one of them being Ultraviolet, very obviously, but what about other ones that Team Flash don't even know about? Maybe they'll get revealed to Team Flash about experimental Godspeeds that the Flash has been capturing over the summer, like before Flash Season 6 even began. I think this is where it's all gonna go down, like definitely down that route of things. And yeah, seriously, I know I've plugged this a few times, I go more into that theory in my past couple of videos, especially the Godspeed one from yesterday. Now, other than that, in this episode, something I kind of forgot to mention, but it really just blends in with everything we've been discussing, is that Joe kind of pulled Barry aside to investigate even more cases of accidental deaths, all associated with none other than Joseph Carver, obviously the head of McCulloch Industries, and they even suspect that somebody at the CCPD is helping him cover these accidental deaths up. Now, bottom line, Carver's assassins are just linked to multiple killings, and that Blackhole is just a lot more dangerous than what Barry Allen realized. So as you can see, whether it's from the beginning of The Flash and how they've been weaving in the Blackhole organization to now, obviously we're in graphic novel part 2, so obviously we're on to that new villain now. They are going full swing, Blackhole, left, right, and center. It's freaking imprinted on diamonds. It's just everywhere. So what I'm looking forward to now, or what I think the show needs to do now after this episode, because I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it probably more than a lot of other people. I've seen people say it's been a boring episode, this, that, and the other. I didn't think it was bad. At least it was better than freaking Armanette Black and Goldface. I like the metal, or whatever daddy comment there was. I'm not going into that. But either way, the Flash needs to get back onto track now. We need more speedster stuff. We need some more actual serious on the line stuff, like serious stuff, like Godspeed comes in and just wipes someone out, and the stakes are really high. We need something like that, and that is coming episode 18. But I just feel like we really need to get the ball rolling. I think they've teased enough about Blackhole. I think we've dived into the conspiracy enough now for them to start bringing out the big guns, the big players. Because, yeah, this is graphic novel part 2 now. This is the main villain part 2 of the season. And we want to see what cards you've got to play. And we know one of them is Godspeed, so start bringing it out the bag, because things are just starting to get a little bit stale now, just in my opinion. But yeah, overall, decent episode. I would say looking back on season 6, if this was the future, this would have just been an okay episode. It wouldn't have been a bad episode, wouldn't have been a great episode by any means, not at all. It wouldn't have been a necessarily boring episode for me, but it would have been an episode to what I'm saying right now is that next week's episode better be freaking sweet, because otherwise, yeah, I would feel very... If next week's episode is like this episode or like last episode, I'll feel very low energy about The Flash. I'll be like, what's going on? So guys, end of the review. What do you think Iris is going to do with that mirror gun? Do you think she's going to try and stop the actual real Iris from coming through and coming back into the real world? What do you think the big guns, or who do you think the big guns of, you know, the Blackhole organization is? Probably Godspeed, but like, I'm kind of really hoping for a main front man being displayed from the Blackhole organization, because it's blatantly obvious they are the kind of main villainous group, if you will, of season 6 part 2. But we need the big bad dude. We need him, and hopefully that's coming. And yeah, let me know what you think they're going to do with Sudhir Bond, and let me know what you thought of these characters, Ava McCulloch and Sue, at the same time. I dig them, dig Ava a lot more, personally, just as first impressions, but we'll see. Other than that, everyone, just like this video if you did enjoy it. It really does show your support for these breakdowns every single week. And subscribe for more videos just like this. Turn the notification bell on as well so you never miss out on an update or a video or a review or whatever. But yeah, check out my past couple of videos here. Once more, I will remind you about my Godspeed video and my Reverse Flash returning to the future of the Flash. Check those out. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you speedsters in the next video. Goodbye.